today?
I'm alive right now. I'm alive. I have right now. All right, guys, are we okay? Just checking in one time. We have like 10 more minutes, not even, left of the tour. We're going to be done soon. I promise. I told you guys before, Philadelphia is in a grid system. Our trip is supposed to go east to west or north to south. Now, again, we want the first city in this country. We want the first city in the colonial assembly to be in an English navigate grid system. Now, the streets that run north to south like this are being at the numbers only going from 2 and up. We do not have our first street in Philadelphia, and that is because of our Quakers. The Quakers believe the number 1 should be commemorated for God and God only. So instead of a first street, we have a front street. It's just turned off. The streets that go east to west are named after plants like pine, walnut, spruce, and chestnut. Just turned on to Chestnut Street. Now on the left-hand side, guys, you're going to see a little bit of the bridge. Now the left-hand side of the bridge is 1.8 miles, 1.6 miles beginning to end, getting into New Jersey. Now the bridge opened up on July 1st, 1926, a very special way for us to celebrate the 103rd anniversary of our independence from the British. Now when the bridge was opened, it was the longest steel suspension bridge in the country for only 3 years because it was outlined by the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan, the bridge that separates Michigan from Canada. I need to get some help with that. Michigan or Michigan? Wait, okay, so is there the Ambassador Bridge and the Mackinac Bridge? Closed a lot of what? Oh, really? Oh, that's Canada. That's Canada. What closes it? Just snow? I did mention a good place to get a Philadelphia cheesesteak is around this area, again off of 2nd and Market. Now up the street on the left-hand side, you see Oh Brother. Now Oh Brother is my personal favorite place to get a cheesesteak when I'm hanging out in Center City. Again, my favorite place to get a Philadelphia cheesesteak when I'm hanging out in Center City, our downtown area. Now they're less than 2 years old. They're delicious. They have a juicy sandwich inside. They have lovely fries. They have cheeseburgers also. They have mozzarella sticks. So if you get a cheesesteak, yes, but other options. You have other options. Oh no. You want to see something terrifying? Okay. You want to see something scary? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, you love this? I know. Oh, brother. Great place for cheesesteak. Also, Campos. Hey, Campo. Studies. They're awesome. Stone car. They have cheesesteak egg rolls, so check them out if you want to. It's so good. That is insane. That is insane. They don't love me. They don't want to. Okay, let's. Now on the left-hand side, guys, you see another first of Philadelphia. This was America's first post office. This was also America's first and the only colonial themed post museum. It was also the only post office in the country which did not have it. I'm so sorry. This is also the only post office in the country that did not have an American flag standing on top of it, waving on top of it, because we see right before the United States of America has been around. Now that first post office in our country was Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, as a true rock star in his time, he was so much of a rock star that he put him on the $100 bill. Now put on the back of the $100 bill, you can see this view on the left-hand side, and this view is up in the hall known as the $100 view. Again, the same thing you do in the back of the $100 bill. Now going inside of Independence Hall, oh yeah, I don't know what that is. Where'd she go? So yeah, going inside of Independence Hall is like 90% free and 90% easy, alright? Now what you need to do is go inside of this building on your right, the Independence Visitor Center, go to the National Park Service Desk and pick yourself up a time voucher to take a tour of Independence Hall if you want to. Now, if those vouchers run out if those vouchers are done for the day, which I highly doubt because I don't seem that busy, But if they are done, I recommend going when the building first opens up tomorrow morning at 8:30 to get yourself a voucher. And also, you can reserve them online at recreation.gov for $1.25. Now, on your left-hand side, you see this little structure in the corner with the three window frame and the door frame. That is the first vaulting term president house of the nation. Both George Washington and John Adams resided in their terms as president when Philly was the capital. But after the capital moved to Washington, D.C., we toured the building down. And now it is an exhibit dedicated to those who are enslaved inside of it. Now, on the left-hand side, you see, I got you guys. On the left-hand side, you have the Liberty Bell building. Now, the Liberty Bell has always been a symbol of American freedom, but it was initially a way for us to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Charter of Privilege of Pennsylvania. Remember that one document that I said was the Constitution for the state enacted in 1701. Now, the Liberty Bell is kind of different. When you look at the left-hand side, you see a glass wall. Behind the glass wall, you see the Liberty Bell. Now, if you guys want to take a tour of the building, you have to get a line behind the president's house to see it, right? If you don't want to see it, that tree right over there, that tree, there's also, so right over that tree, there's like a speaker. You guys can play around with, and that speaker will provide information to you. Right? Now, on your right-hand side, guys, we have Independence Hall. Now, Independence Hall has stood witness to some of the most major events that have shaped this country's foundation. Now, the Declaration of Independence was signed inside with these 86 men bravely gathering inside to do so. We also hosted the Philadelphia Convention inside Branch. Sorry. And that is when we created our Constitution, that one document that keeps us intact. We also created the first Constitution inside called the Articles of Confederation. And that's where the church is called. Now, we also hosted the second Constitution inside. And that was and since that all happened here in Philadelphia, you have to agree that Philadelphia is by far one of the best definitions of America's city. Everyone say, go Philly! Go Philly! You can't help it. You have the earth in your blood. You just can't help it. All right, fantastic. Send it to universe. Yeah. All right. Now, my friends, we are at the conclusion of our tour. I had a lovely time with you guys. If you had a lovely time with me, do not be afraid to go to TripAdvisor.com to get your tour guide Warren and your driver Ross to solve a review. And if you have further questions, comments, or concerns, do not be afraid to address me at the bottom of the bus. And we also accept tips for a job well done. Anything you get, it's split 50-50 between the driver and myself. I do understand some of you guys have to buy tickets, so everyone must get off the bus. Again, we all must get off the bus.
Pues sí, lo no.
Alrighty. We have our friends from Maryland. Hey, Maryland. We got New York in the house. Hey, New York. My name is Warren, and I'm going to be your tour guide. That's a camera in my face, so be on my best behavior. Great. Now, Philadelphia is an amazing city. Our driver's name is Ross. Everyone say hello to Ross, please. Amazing. Now some quick facts about this lovely city is that we are the 6th most populous city in all of the nation with 1.6 million people strong. We are also the 2nd most populous city on the East Coast after our friends up north and New York City, otherwise known as the center of the universe. Good for them. Now we are also responsible for the 3rd largest downtown district in the country, right after Chicago's downtown and after New York's downtown, but this one is referred to as Center City. Now this entire tour will take place in our downtown district, Center City, where we get to experience the 4 things that Philadelphia is best known for. We are known for our art, our food, our sports fans, and our history. Now when it comes to art, guys, there's amazing art museums all throughout Philadelphia, like the Philadelphia Museum of Art to our Barnes Foundation. We're also known for our food. I mean, people come from all around the world to try out one sandwich, and this is the Philadelphia cheesesteak. One person, great, we're gonna get there, Now we're also known for our sports fans, whether it be the Eagles or the 76ers or the Flyers or those Phillies. We are always showing up and supporting our sports teams no matter what, and sometimes making front page news about doing so. Now, above anything else, we are known for our history. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, was created in Philadelphia and signed in the city. We were the first multi-year capital in the country from 1790 to 1800, and we are known today as the city of first. Many aspects that helped make this country so great, so amazing, started in Philadelphia initially. Now, the first thing we're going to check out is going to be this lovely building on your right-hand side, and this is the United States Mint. Now, Philadelphia was responsible for the first mint in the country in 1794, but the building on your right-hand side was finished in 1968, and today it is the #1 producer of coins in the country. So we have a mint in California, one in Colorado, one in West Point, New York, but the one in Philadelphia is responsible for about 1/3 of the coins in your purses, pockets, and wallets. Now, my friends, we're gonna bring it to the streets of Philly. Let's take it to the streets. Now, if you keep your eyes open, or if you look at your map, you'll notice that our streets are in a grid system. So they mostly go east to west or north to south. Now, for today's standards, that is not a big deal. Many cities are in an easy-to-navigate grid system. But Philadelphia was the first one in the colonial assembly to be in an easy-to-navigate grid system, and that was because of William Penn. Branch, New York! Okay, so that happens a lot during the tour. Okay. So I'm gonna scream branch and duck a lot randomly. You just listen, okay? And follow suit. Philadelphia is a city of bobbing and weaving. You gotta be fast in this city, all right? Anyway, so the streets in Philadelphia go east to west. We're the first one in the country in the colonial assembly to do that, and that's because of William Penn. Now, he was from London. If you guys have ever been to London, you know the streets are not organized at all. They're in a bunch of roundabouts, loops, crazy turns. So when William Penn was settling us, he put us into a grid system. Now, the streets that run east to west, like this one, are named after plants like pine, chestnut, walnut, spruce, and sassafras. Now, if you look on your right-hand side at the corner of this brick building, you will see the original Sassafras Street sign over here on your right-hand side. Now also on your right-hand side, you'll see the Sassafras Market. Now we renamed the street from Sassafras to Race because back in the day, during the colonial era, this street is where we used to host a bunch of our illegal horse races. So we in the street from Sassafras to Race Street. Okay, if you're gonna laugh at me, y'all better hook me up and be like, hey, there's a branch behind you. Now on your right-hand side, yo, this is gonna be crazy. All right, we got this. Now right back there, there's a bar. There's a bar known as Paddy's Pub. Now Paddy's Pub is the actual bar that inspired one of my favorite sitcoms, It Is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now the show Is Always Sunny in Philadelphia does explore the absurdity of living in the city, and it is known as the anti-sitcom or the Seinfeld on crack. Yeah. What's up? Now, the Always Sunny in Philadelphia was created by Mr. Rob McElhenney, and he is a Philadelphian. He also stars in the show, and they are going into their 14th season on FXX. Now, directly in front of us, you're going to see the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. Now, this bad boy is, 1.8 miles beginning to end, and it leads into New Jersey. Now, the bridge opened up on July 1st, 1926. Hey, you enjoying your brunch? You better. Okay, millennials and they brunch. Look at them. Peach mimosa. They chillin'. What's on top? Oh yeah, the bridge. It's blue, it's beautiful. Benjamin Franklin Bridge. We'll take a better view of it in a second, I promise. Now on the left-hand side, you're gonna see two double red doors. Now this is where we had the first volunteer fire brigade in our country, and it was founded by Benjamin Franklin. And today it is a free museum where you can learn more about the history of the firefighting department in our country and how Benjamin Franklin and Philadelphia contributed to it. Now, coming up on your left-hand side, my friends, I recommend snapping a photo because this is Alfred's Alley. Now, Alfred's Alley is America's oldest continuously resided on street that speaks English. And as you guys can see, it is showing off a beautiful collection of early Americana colonial homes, all created from 1720 to 1830. Now, during the rest of the day, and maybe tomorrow, you can take tours of two of those houses, as with the rest are all privately owned. Now, my friends, just to let you guys know, this is a hop-on, hop-off tour. Again, hop-on, hop-off. I like to call it my ho-ho tour. Sorry, behave. Anyway, now during the tour, it is recommended you take the entire tour once, just so you can have an idea as to what Philly has to offer, and then use your ticket, which is valid for the rest of the day, to get a ride to all the stops that pique your interest. Now, I will continue to name the stops, and because of the Made in America Festival, some of the stops aren't inaccessible. I will continue to name the stops, and if you guys want to get off, just let me know, and I will accommodate. Now, we're on our way to stop number 2 for the Betsy Ross House. Stop number 3 for the National Constitution Center and the African American Museum, and stop number 4 for Chinatown. And we're getting off at stop number 2 for the Betsy Ross House. Raise your hand high for the Betsy Ross House. Stop number 3 for the National Constitution Center. And stop number 4 for Chinatown. No one? Great, great, great. Now over here on your right-hand side, we have the house of Betsy Ross. Now Betsy Ross is known for sewing the first American flag, the first Stars and Stripes flag in our country. Now right behind us, right on the bottom floor, is where her upholstery business was at. And her top 2 floors is where her and her 7 daughters resided. Now if you thought that was impressive, Betsy Ross herself was one of 17 children. 17 children, and she is still buried over here on your right hand side in between those 2 trees with her 3rd husband, John Claypool. Now, Betsy Ross was a massive deal in her time. She was a devout Quaker, one of America's first female entrepreneurs, and obviously she's credited with sewing the first American flag. Now, she was a Quaker in her young adult years, but when she married John Ross, her first husband, who was an Episcopalian, she was exiled from her Quaker community because the Quakers were very much against interdenominational marriages. Now, Betsy Ross also helped fund the free Quaker meeting houses throughout Philadelphia. I'm sorry, sir. Now, the regular Quakers were mostly pacifists. They didn't really believe in fighting. They didn't believe in war. But in the free Quakers, they started to believe in war. They started to believe that we need to be involved in the revolution. So that's the difference between the Quakers and the free Quakers. Now, who the heck are the Quakers, and how do they relate to the history of Philadelphia? Ross, see? Hold up, one second. Meeting house for worship, not just in the state of Pennsylvania, but in the country. Now, before I keep talking about the Quakers, coming up on your right-hand side, we have a lovely 9-foot bust of Benjamin Franklin. You guys can take a picture of this, and this 9-foot bust was made 100% out of melted keys and melted coins. It's really cute. Say ooh. Say ah. Make sure you're not in people's way, though, friends. Right. Now let's talk about the Quakers. Now in 1681, my friends, one famous Quaker set sail from England to establish Pennsylvania, and that was William Penn. Now who did this Quaker brought with? Who this Quaker brought with him were a bunch of other Quakers. Now the Quakers were being persecuted in England for rejecting the Church of England, but instead for following the Quaker religion. So they found a safe haven for themselves here in Philadelphia alongside William Penn. Now, since the Quakers were being persecuted for their religious practices, they made a point in building Philadelphia on a foundation of religious freedom, meaning you can celebrate any religion you want to, any way you want to, free of persecution. Now, yes, in the 1600s, this was a bit taboo. So a lot of people wanted to move into Philadelphia to be a part of this holy experiment where people from different religious backgrounds would simply coexist, and it had the power to make Philadelphia the first and original melting pot in American history. That made Philadelphia America's first great city, and we were also the first liberal society of the entire Western world, which is something I personally am very proud of, and that is because of William Penn and the Quakers. Say go Philly. Go Philly! Fantastic. We're good, Ross. Thank you, friend. Now, here on your right-hand side, we have a lovely 9-foot bust of Benjamin Franklin. Now, that 9-foot bust is made 100% out of melted keys and melted coins, and all the keys and coins that made that bust possible was actually donated to this fire department, was donated to Mr. Reginald Beauchamp, the sculptor, by the elementary schools in our city in 1969. It took him 2 years to complete, and then in 2007, he gifted it to that fire department. I'm talking about Reginald Beauchamp, the sculptor. Now, Benjamin Franklin is still around today. He's hanging out in Philadelphia. He resting, minding his business. That's not funny. Yes, he is buried here in Philadelphia. Now, he is buried at the Christ Church burial ground, right behind these green iron gates. This is where he's at. Now, Benjamin Franklin was a true rock star in his time. He was a writer, a printer, a scientist, an inventor, a founding father. He is the only founding father, the only gentleman to be the signer of the Big Three: Declaration of Independence, Treaty of Paris, and the Constitution. Now, he is buried over here with his wife, Deborah Franklin. Now, over here at the Christ Church burial ground, we do have 4 other signers of the Declaration of Independence buried. John Ross is buried over here, Betsy Ross's first husband. Francis Hopkinson, a delegate from Delaware. Benjamin Ross, he is known as the grandfather of American surgery. And also George Hughes, and I forget what he's known for. But still, there's a lot of people over here sign up the Declaration of Independence. Now, I did mention the Constitution, and the Constitution was created here in Philadelphia at the Independence Hall, at the Philadelphia Convention in 1789. On your right-hand side, friends, you're going to see the National Constitution Center. Now, this museum is the first and only museum in the country dedicated to our Constitution. Now, currently, we are hosting our Civil War and Reconstruction exhibit, where we do talk about the constitutional clashes over slavery. We even talk about a battle for freedom and equality post-Civil War as well. You can also go inside of the National Constitution Center and take a selfie inside of the Oval Office, or even raise your right hand and take the oath of office if you want to. You can even go inside and check out the Constitution, but you can't see the original Constitution. You can see a copy and pick yourself up a copy of the Constitution. Now, the actual Constitution is going to be in Washington, D.C. at the National Archives. But please make no mistake, just because D.C. has it now, don't forget that we worked very hard on it here in Philadelphia in 1789, 11 years before there was a single soul in Washington, D.C. Don't forget about us. Now, on your left-hand side, guys, we have the William J. Greene Jr. Federal Building. The building takes up literally the entire block, and it adds up to 1.7 million square feet, the largest federal complex in the city, and it's also the only example of beehive-style architecture in our city as well. Now, on your right-hand side, we have the African American Museum in Philadelphia. Now, in the front of the museum, you're gonna see 13 whispering bells. Now, those 13 whispering bells are dedicated to the somewhat unknown death of Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks was one of the first casualties of the Revolutionary War, an African American fellow who lost his life in the Boston Massacre. Thank you, Australia. We always depend on Australia. #1 home team all the time. Now, the African American Museum in Philadelphia is now the first of Philadelphia. It's the first museum in the country dedicated to the preservation of African American history, to be funded by a city, opening its doors in 1976. Now, on your left-hand side, you're going to see a neat little glass structure. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's stunning. But when you look a little bit deeper, it is just a parking garage. A little bit too wacky looking for a parking garage. Well, that is because it is part of our Percent for Art program. That basically means any large-scale project that's being developed in our city that's using Philadelphia funds, 1% of it must go towards an art installment. So it could be a glass structure, a light show, sound installations, dragons, sculptures, new images, moving images, or even a new mural. Now, this Percent for Art program, yes, it sounds fantastic, but a lot of cities and towns has something like a Percent for Art program, but the first city to have it was Philadelphia in 1969. What's up, what's up, what's up? Now, this neighborhood that we're in right now, you can take a quick guess what it's called. This neighborhood is called? Little Italy. I'm joking. I'm joking. Everyone's like, what the heck? I'm joking. This is Chinatown. Now, this is where we work extra hard here to preserve Asian culture and Asian identity with about 150 merchants and restaurants in this neighborhood. Now, not only do we have a Chinatown in Philly, we also have a Little Saigon in South Philadelphia and a Koreatown in North Philly at the edge of Philadelphia County. Now, but in our Chinatown, 150 merchants and restaurants, but we also have the third largest Chinatown in the country, right after San Francisco and New York. Now, a few places I recommend checking out. One is called Kung Fu Tea. Now, Kung Fu Tea is right up the street, past the light, on your left-hand side, and they have the best bubble tea in town, and they started serving their pumpkin spice bubble tea. So you know what that means. Autumn is here, so definitely support them if you want to. Now, on your right-hand side, guys, on your right, we got a flag. On your right-hand side, we're gonna check out the Friendship Gate. Now, the Friendship Gate was a gift from our sister city, Tianjin, China. It was brought here in 1982. It is 40 feet tall, 8 tons, and made 100% out of wood, meaning there's basically not a nail nor screw inside of the Friendship Gate. The entire structure works as a large jigsaw puzzle where it sort of just supports itself. Now, the Mandarin that you saw on that Friendship Gate is very unique, especially for someone in my line of work. Any guesses as to what that Mandarin could have possibly have said? No guesses? Oh, I'll tell you. It's French. It didn't say French. It didn't say French. It said, don't forget to tip your tour guide and driver. Yeah. And this North Philly charm ain't free. All right? I'm the worst. Anyway, but I'm kidding. It says welcome to Philadelphia, all right? Flag. One of the things that's going to decapitate me, possibly. I shouldn't say that. I know, I'm listening to you, Australia. Branch, guys, branch. That's that's one heck of a refund. Now, over here on your left-hand side, we have the Reading Terminal Market. Now, this is where it gets for real. Raise your hand if you love food. Now, if you love food, this is the best place in the city for you to go to. Inside, there's 80 different vendors dedicated to anything your stomach desires. From Indian food to Italian food, Spanish food, soul food, barbecue food, ice cream. How you doing today? Make some noise for my friend on the left. Woo! Oh yeah. Anyway, so the Reading Terminal Market, a lot of fun. Now, this is America's oldest continuously operating farmers market. Now, most of the vendors inside. Okay, branch on the right, guys. Oh, branch on the right. New York, right in front of you. All right. So the Reading Terminal Market, a lot of fun. 80 vendors dedicated to anything you want. Now, most of the vendors inside are Amish owned. Now, the Amish do not work on Sundays, but I recommend going when they first open up tomorrow morning to support those Amish vendors. Now, give me a hot second. I will tell you about those Amish vendors in a little bit. Now, raise your hand if you are getting off at stop number 5. Raise your hand. It's great. You don't have to show me your ticket. This room upstairs, yes, ma'am. Take your time. I'm going to pull a Lizzo right now, so it's good. Oh, baby, I'm serious. That's one. What's up, guys? Welcome to Philly. Keep it real. Recommend going to. Now, all the vendors I recommend going to are Amish owned, and the Amish, they do not work on Sundays. So if you are in town tomorrow or Tuesday, go and support those vendors. Now, one vendor I recommend checking out is called Sweet as Fudge. And Sweet as Fudge serves up one of my favorite Pennsylvania Amish traditions, and this is called chocolate-covered sunflower seeds. What is that? What is that in your hand? What is that, y'all? Why'd you threw it? I love Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia.
You stop crying.
I just like, oh, what? Give me my badge. Hello? Give me my badge. Anyway, everything okay in Philadelphia is a safe city. So directly in front of us, my friends, we're going to see Philadelphia's major architectural achievement, and this is City Hall. Say ooh. Say ah. Thank you. Now, Philadelphia City Hall is our major architectural achievement. It is the largest city hall in the country. It is the second tallest freestanding masonry building in the world, the tallest freestanding masonry building in the country. Now, what does that mean? That means that there is no steel framing inside of this building. It was made 100% out of brick, mortar, limestone, granite, marble, and other stone materials. Now, it took us 3 long decades, 30 years to complete this building. We started the project in 1871, and we did not finish it until 1901. Now, if you start to look on the exterior walls of City Hall, you'll notice about 250 statues and carvings, off of which are 100% handcrafted from the walls. Now, one statue does reign supreme, and that is a statue all the way on top of City Hall. Again, the statue all the way on top, and that is a statue of Pennsylvania founder William Penn. You guys got it? Now, that statue of William Penn stands at 37.5 feet tall on top of City Hall, making him the tallest statue on top of a building in our country. He also weighs 53,000 pounds. Hashtag keto diet. And also, he was brought up there in 13 separate pieces initially. Now, we're going to keep talking about that in a hot second. If you look from the right now, if you look on your right-hand side, at the corner of this park, you're going to see the Love statue. Again, at the corner of this park, you're going to see the Love statue. If you see the Love statue, say love! Love! Fantastic. That's a cross, but I'm not worried about that. Now, the Love statue, now we are known for the Love statue, but we were not the first city in the country to have it. I'm loving them. The first city in the country to have the Love statue was in Indianapolis. And it was created in 1970. As a way for Mr. Robert Clark to commemorate the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Now, after that one statue got really famous, Mr. Clark made recast of it, and he placed one in Philadelphia permanently in 1978. So again, anyone here getting off for our Love statue? Say it again, friend. Always stopping at 17 for the Franklin Institute. We're not stopping in front of the Franklin Institute, but I would actually recommend getting off right here and walking. One second, Ross. I'm sorry, one second. I gotta explain something.
You told me you were like,
Now, on your right-hand side, guys, you're going to see a sign for the Pennsylvania Railroad Suburban Station. The Pennsylvania Railroad was known for connecting Philadelphia to the Western world. First, initially connecting us to Pittsburgh, and then it connected us to the rest of the Western world. Now, the Pennsylvania Railroad will sound familiar to you, especially if you're a fan of the board game Monopoly. Now, our places in both Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Atlantic City, New Jersey did inspire this hit board game. Now, the jail on the board game was inspired by our Eastern State Penitentiary, and the waterworks on the board game was inspired by our Fairmount Waterworks. Now, again, on the right-hand side, we have a lovely view of City Hall. William Penn stands on top of it. If you look below William Penn, you're going to see a glass platform. That glass platform is actually an observation deck, a great opportunity for you guys to see an aerial view of the city. This is my favorite observation deck in Philadelphia. Now, in a second, we're going to get a green light, and on your left-hand side, you're going to see the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. Now, the Benjamin Franklin Parkway is going to have 110 flags up and down the parkway, up and down the street. And the Benjamin Franklin Parkway was designed after the Champs-Élysées in Paris. It is sometimes referred to as Museum Mile. There are 7 museums up and down the parkway. Now, the main museum was all the way at the end, and that is the infamous Philadelphia Museum of Art. Now, the Art Museum is where Rocky Balboa conquered the steps. You guys cannot see it because of the Made in America nonsense. But again, Rocky Balboa is known for conquering those steps in the movie Rocky. Now, he conquered all 72 of those steps in the movie, and ever since he did, they've been deemed as sort of a symbol of athletic achievement. So whenever we have a marathon or a race, we do start in front of the Art Museum steps. Now, the Rocky statue is not on top of the Art Museum steps. Again, the Rocky statue is not on top of the Art Museum steps anymore. The people at the Art Museum actually evicted Rocky, and then we we actually put them in the Lincoln Financial Field, our football stadium in South Philadelphia, but we only kept them there. We kept them in a closet there for 5 years. Who would have thought Rocky was in a closet for that long? I mean, he's fighting for a very shiny belt all day, so come on. Anyway, so Rocky Balboa. Yeah, now the Rocky statue is at the base of the Art Museum steps, and considering this festival, it is hard to see it, but if you guys can, you can weasel your way through it and get a selfie with Rocky, all right? And if you want to do that, get off at the Eastern State Penitentiary and do some walking. Good luck. Now, the Art Museum is a lot of fun. The Art Museum is not going to be open tomorrow, but it will be open on Tuesday. In fact, if you are in town on Wednesday, they will have Pay What You Want night. So from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, they will have Pay What You Want night at the Art Museum. The Art Museum building was finished in 1928, and Mr. Julian Francis Abel was the lead architect on it. And Julian Francis Abel was the first African American to graduate from the University of Pennsylvania's design school. And he's also responsible for the Parkway Central Branch Library. And he finished the Art Museum in 1928, took him 14 years to complete it. The Art Museum is a lot of fun. Inside it, we know Winsor Rock by Vincent van Gogh, Pablo Picasso, Salvador Dali, Giorgio O'Keeffe, and Marcel Duchamp. In fact, we do have the largest collection of Marcel Duchamp's artwork than any other city in the nation, again, inside of the Art Museum. So, my friends, we are taking a detour. Again, we are taking a detour because of the Made in America Festival. So, yeah, that's happening right now. Okay, so when we passed the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, you probably saw a bunch of flags up and down the street. Those flags on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, maybe, yeah, perfect. Now, those flags are dedicated to our immigrants. I said before, Philadelphia was the first melting pot in our country, so we're always showing love to those that make this city a diverse one. Now, we have 110 flags, but we initially started it with 96 flags, and we started it in 1976, where that was a way for us to celebrate the 200th anniversary of our independence from the British. Now we've grown, we have 110 now. So also in the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, we do have the Franklin Institute. I know our friends from Houston wanted to go to the Franklin Institute. We're going to accommodate her later on during the day. And then Franklin Institute, wire, thick wire. No, get low. No way, Jose. One time I was clotheslined by one of those wires, and all 185 pounds of me went on the ground. It was insane. But then I got some pity tips afterwards, and that was pretty nice. Like, oh, he has he has some money, guy. God. I'm kidding. I don't capitalize off the pity tips. I wouldn't do that. I was talking about something. The flags. Boom, that's the Parkway. 110 flags. And some of the flags are misplaced and put next to important structures from that country. But we're here in the Spring Garden neighborhood. Now, this is where we're going to see a great collection of row homes. Now, what is a row home? Now, that means all the houses on the street are physically connected to one another. These are not good examples. But once we get farther up the street on your right-hand side, you're going to see a great collection of row homes. That means all the houses on the street are physically connected to one another. Branch on the right, don't stand up. Fantastic. Again, they're fairly similar. They're pretty narrow, but very, very long. Now, when it comes to these type of homes, they're very popular on the northeastern part of the country. So Boston, New York, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, they have a lot of row homes. But Philadelphia was the first one to have them, first one to have a collection of them. And for a small piece of time, they was known as the Philadelphia Row, and still to this day. Sorry, 1 second. Everything's good. Anyway, we were the first city in the country to have the collection of row homes. 70% of the houses in town are still known as row homes. And the only city to come close to us, percentage-wise, is Baltimore, Maryland. Again, now I know in DC they call them townhomes, and parts of New York they call them brownstones, but again, row homes. Now, if you guys are interested in buying a house in this area, I know they cost around. What else is synonymous with Philadelphia? Food-wise, Tasty Cakes is synonymous with us. Peanut Chews, the soft pretzel is synonymous with us. The water ice. Yeah, the water ice. Look at you, you're amazing. The water ice. We're known for the water ice as well. And we're also known for the Philadelphia cheesesteak. Now, raise your hand if you already got yourself a Philly cheesesteak. We got some hands in the air. Now, my friends from Chester County, where'd you guys go to get a cheesesteak? Branch! Thank you, sorry. Thank you, Mia. The Reading Terminal Market. Amazing. Did you enjoy your sandwich?
No, we
So he got his sandwich from the Reddington Market. Now inside the Reddington Market we have the Knicks, Barteros, By George's, Molly Malloy's, and Carmen's, I believe. So those are 5 great places for a cheesesteak inside of the Reddington Market. But I prefer Carmine's of the 5. Carmine's is pretty good. Now other places to get Philadelphia cheesesteak is going to include Gino's and Pat's off of 9th and Passyunk. Now those are the 2 places that do take credit for the cheesesteak tradition the most, and they are the more infamous places in South Philly. Now they both started in the 1930s is when the cheesesteak tradition did go off. Now on your branch, on the right. On your left-hand side, guys, we have the Bergdahl Mansion. Now, the Bergdahl Mansion is where we shot scenes from the hit movie, The Sixth Sense. That movie was directed by Mr. M. Night Shyamalan, and most of his movies are still set in Philadelphia or rural Pennsylvania or even parts of New Jersey because he still resides in the city. Again, I'm talking about this building on your left-hand side that is being covered by the branches. Amazing. Which is great for the photo ops. So yes, now most of M. Night Shyamalan's movies are still set in Philadelphia. Now, other movies that was shot in Philadelphia was shot in Philadelphia. Rock, we all know was shot in Philadelphia. 12 Monkeys was shot in Philadelphia. It was actually shot Branch. Sorry for the delay. We also shot scenes from the movie 12 Monkeys here in Philadelphia inside the Eastern State Penitentiary, which is all the way up there. And right now we are shooting what are we shooting right now? Urban Cowboy with Idris Elba in North Philly. I know that Idris. A wire. Oh, don't stand up. This is the wire that got me, y'all. No. Say it again, Australia. Where is Idris Elba? He in North Philly. After the tow, you and I can have a nice little conversation. We can take a little walk if you want. Trust me, I've done the Googling. All right. I actually have him like on my phone right now. I'm following him like beep, beep, beep. Yeah, I'm the worst.
Mom's coming up. The first story, please.
All right. So now, Pennsylvania system. Now, what we thought would be the best way to rehabilitate a criminal was to lock you inside of a cell by yourself for 23 hours in a day. And then we would give you a Bible. And then give you a ray of sunlight from a window on the ceiling, and that ray of sunlight was nicknamed the Eye of God. So with the Eye of God, 23 hours by your lonesome, and a Bible, we thought you would be able to rehabilitate yourself for deeper connection to God. Now on paper, it sounds great, it sounds fantastic, it sounds enlightening. There's a camera. So it sounds fantastic, but when we put it to action, people started to lose their minds inside, and that is one reason why it is considered a haunted prison right now. It could also be because we had a bunch of dental experiments inside, led by a Quaker blind dentist known as David Ogden, and those dental experiments went terribly wrong. If you ever spoke to somebody, apparently there was a story, if you ever spoke to somebody, as a punishment, you would be straitjacketed and gagged for 3 weeks. And I also said before, you locked inside of a cell by yourself for 23 hours in a day. For that 1 extra hour, you were usually able to go outside. Before you went outside, my friends, a small potato sack was put over your face, so you 1, could never see the landscape of the prison, and 2, not interact with any other prisoners. Yay! Now, my friends, we are at the conclusion. Ooh, whoa. Sorry. We are here at stop number 10. Is anyone? Well, one second, friend. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I love it. Then we stand up. Oh, North Carolina, stand up for the photo. Oh, so adorable. I'm the worst. Please come back and check it out. Now, I got a bit of an inside look onto their hiring process. If you have a Philadelphia zip code, you are hired. It is amazing. Just any Philadelphian. They let us attack strangers. It's amazing. Now the Eastern State Penitentiary also. Anyway, focus. So, and we also locked up Al Capone 8 months inside the Eastern State Penitentiary for breaking one of Pennsylvania's gun laws. When he was serving his time, people started to gossip. They said, "Mr. Capone, you're not serving your time. You're on vacation or running away from somebody." And they said that because it turned out that him and the warden were really good friends. I mean, they was... I love that you remember my little support. I appreciate you. Keep it going. I might take you in that detour. when you visit his cell, you will notice that his cell is a lot more luxurious than the other cells. It's jam-packed with upholstered chairs, luxurious rugs, a nice little radio. It's super cute inside of his cell. Now, yes, we locked up Al Capone. We also locked up some other bootleggers. We have some arsonists. We have bank robbers, like I mentioned before. We also locked up the worst type of criminal. Those crazy people that never tip their very charming and charismatic tour guide. And his #1 fan. We're about to make some money. What's up? Christmas decoration that's still there. Problem number 1. Number 2, she's like, okay, so we gotta stay low. All right? Don't stand up. Even if you are the real Slim Shady, do not stand up. God. All right. Come on, Scepter, move the bus. People born between 1984 to 1998, millennials are taking over the city. It is a lot of fun to watch us change a little bit. Now, why are millennials so attracted to us? Now, Philadelphia does offer a bunch of the qualities that young adults want in a city. We have a thriving job market, we have affordable housing, we have affordable rent. These things, yeah, I can talk about that for years. So where are some great places to get a Philadelphia chicken? I mentioned, oh, brother. Rogers! Another question? On your left-hand side, we have the Divine Lorraine Hotel, which I know used to be a massive, like, homeless shelter. Something like that. And now it has turned into some more luxury apartments. So yeah, Renaissance phase, a lot of fun. So Del Santos and Chubby's on Henry Avenue and Roxborough are my two favorite places. I grew up in West Philadelphia, so I know that like that. Now on your left-hand side, guys, you're going to see a lovely mural. Now this is one of the 4,000 murals we have in Philadelphia. Now Philadelphia was the mural arts we are the mural arts capital of the world with 4,000 murals all throughout the city spread about. Now before we were the mural arts capital of the world, we were the graffiti art capital of the world. Now the reason we have the murals is because we had to cover all this graffiti art. So we actually hire people, we hired taggers, graffiti artists, street artists, and we hired them as muralists, and then they help erect the murals all around the city in the early 90s, the late 80s and the early 90s is when the tag issue was a humongous issue. Now, you guys ready for a pop quiz?
Yes.
Cool. Now, what is this building directly in front of us?
City Hall.
City Hall. Now, who stands all the way on top of City Hall?
William Penn.
William Penn. Good job. Now, when we put William Penn up there, guys, in 1897, there was a gentleman's agreement that William Penn should always be the highest point in town. That there should never be any building built taller than William Penn. Now, obviously, we broke this rule, okay? And the first year we broke it was in 1987, almost a century later, and that was the year we finished the One Liberty Place. Now, you guys cannot see the One Liberty Place right now. Do not worry about it. The only thing you guys need to know is that the One Liberty Place was the first building built taller than William Penn, breaking this gentleman's agreement. And afterwards, guys, William Penn was so pissed that he whipped out a magical wand and he put a spell on our sports teams. I'm loving the laugh. And that is we know in Philadelphia as the curse of Billy Penn, haunting the city and our sports teams since 1987. Now, so far, we've been able to defeat this curse on 2 separate occasions. Now, the first time was in 2007, and that was the year we finished the first Comcast Center. We're gonna get a better view of it, but if you see it right over that USB drive looking building, that is the first Comcast Center. Now, upon completion of the first Comcast Center, we put a 13-inch statue of William Penn right on top of it, making him the highest point in our city, appeasing his Quaker ego. And the next year, the Philadelphia Phillies won the World Series. And we did it for the second time. We did it a second time. Because in November of 20... Go Patriots. I'm dropping you off in South Philly. I'm not joking. Keep on in South Philly. Here we go. Because earlier on in our season, our franchise quarterback Carson Wentz went down in an ACL injury, and no one believed that our backup quarterback Nick Foles could take us to the promised land. That kept saying it over and over and over again. With Nick Foles in charge, Philly, yes, you'll make it to the playoffs, but don't expect to get that bye week. You're not going to get the home field advantage. You're not going to beat the Falcons. You're not going to beat the Minnesota Vikings, and you definitely will not beat the New England Patriots. They had Nick Foles at 1-100 versus Tom Brady's 1-3 to win the Super Bowl. But as you guys know, Nick Foles pulled himself together and brought the Lombardi Trophy back to Philadelphia. And afterwards, we in Philadelphia took to the streets and we burned the city to the ground. And if you're asking yourself where all these buildings came from, we worked real hard in Philadelphia. We worked to re-erect them, okay? Now on your right-hand side, guys, you see the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. This is America's first art school and also the first art museum in this country, founded in 1805 in Philadelphia. Well, it did lay out the template for modern day approaches! It did lay the template for modern day art museums. Now again, on your left-hand side, you will see our City Hall again. As I said before, this building is the tallest freestanding masonry building in the world, meaning there is no steel framing. It's made 100% out of stone materials. Now, if you look on the exterior walls of City Hall, I know the trees are on your way, but keep looking on the exterior walls. You will notice about 198 AC units. Now we have so many air conditioning ducts outside the windows because at the thickest point of the walls, they are 22 feet thick, making it impossible to put central air inside of this building. Now again, look at William Penn on top of City Hall. Wait, never mind. Is that a good view? Yeah, we can talk about this. So look below William Penn, but above that clock, you're going to see two statues of people. Now there are 4 statues around the clock tower, and those 4 statues are dedicated to the groups of people that were here in southeastern Pennsylvania before William Penn. Now 2 of them are dedicated to the Lenape Native American tribe, the indigenous people of southeastern Pennsylvania, and parts of New Jersey, New York, Delaware, and Maryland. Now the other 2 statues up there are dedicated to our Swedish settlers. Now the Swedes were here in southeastern Pennsylvania, this as the Swedish flag. One example of us staying true to our Swedish roots. Now on your right-hand side, guys, you will see the first Comcast Center. Now this building was finished in 2007, 973 feet tall, the second tallest completed building in town. Just the people you see walking on the beams, whatever, those are statues, obviously, part of the Percent for Art program for the building. And also in the lobby, we do have a 4mm LED TV screen, also part of the aforementioned Percent for Art program. Now the building was designed after a lovely USB drive, which is a lot of fun. Now this building over here is a little bit more asymmetrical than that one. And this is the new Comcast Center, the Comcast Center for Technology and Innovation. Now, she stands at 1,121 feet tall, the new tallest building in Philadelphia, the new tallest building in Pennsylvania, and it is now the new 9th tallest building in all of the country. Now, the Comcast Technology Center also has the tallest hotel in North America inside, which I just found out, and that is the Four Seasons Hotel. It is at the top. It does occupy the top 10 floors of the new Comcast Center, and there's also a restaurant up there that you guys can visit if you're feeling a little bit bold. Now, Houston. Ross, we do have a family from Houston who wants to get off for the Franklin Institute. Can we possibly get them off at this corner, or do you want to drop them off at stop 18? Give me 2 hunks for stop 18, 1 hunk for on this corner. Work, fantastic. Look at that. We got a system. Communication is key, y'all. I don't know how I remember. I just remember. Just kind of look at their face and like, oh, I know you. But okay, here's the thing. Don't come back in 3 months thinking I still remember you. That's crazy. When people come back like, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, I'm like, I'm Louisville. I'm like, I'm sorry. That was a 24-hour situation, and then I kind of it out. I'm joking. I remember everyone all the time. I remember every single person I met throughout my 4 years of being a tour guide. Oh, wow. All right, Houston, you're good.
That's great.
I will say bye, Houston.
Bye.
For the Academy of Music and the general South Broad Street area. All right, branch. Branch, 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 branch. Get low, get, oh. Cool. Now on your left-hand side, guys, you're gonna see a nice view of the Comcast Center. Again, the One Liberty Place. This building was finished in 1987. Again, she was the first building built taller than William Penn. The One Liberty Place stands at 945 feet tall. And on your right-hand side, you can see a sign for the One Liberty Observation Deck. A great opportunity for you guys to see an aerial view of the city. And there are more tour guides up there that can further provide information on the city if you want them to do so. Now again, directly in front of us, we see City Hall. Now, looking below William Penn, but above that clock, again looking below. I love us. Now, again, looking below William Penn, above that clock. Two statues up there are dedicated to the Lenape Native American tribe, the indigenous people of southeastern Pennsylvania. And the other two statues up there are dedicated to our Swedish settlers. Now, if you look on either corner of City Hall, you will see a blue and yellow flag. And that blue and yellow flag is the official flag of Philadelphia. And as you guys can see, it has the same colors as the Swedish flag. One example of us staying true to our Swedish roots. Now on your left-hand side, you're going to see a statue of an African-American fella. That is Mr. Octavius Valentine Cato. Now he was an African-American educator and a civil rights activist based in our city. He is known for integrating our streetcars in the 1860s. That's why there's a streetcar right behind him. He's also known for fighting hard to re-grant African Americans the right to vote, leading up to the 1871 election in Philly. He was also known for attending the Quaker Institute for Colored Youth, which later became Cheyney University. And I will talk more about Cheyney in a second. Now, he was also one of the first African Americans allowed membership at the Union League. And this building on your right-hand side is the Union League. That was formed in 1862, and it was initially a group of like-minded men who wanted to support Abraham Lincoln, his policies, and his Union soldiers. Thank you. Now, the Union League today is sort of like this urban elite country club where a lot of us may not be able to afford membership at. That's okay because we, the people, got Wawa, which is right back there. Now, raise your hand if you ever heard of Wawa.
Yes.
Know about Wawa? Know about Wawa? Amazing, amazing. Now, Wawa is a 24-hour convenience store / deli. Just think of it like 7-Eleven all jacked up on steroids. It's like the Rose Voices of gas station. Longest running opera institution. There's also one theater here on the Avenue of the Arts. Now, another great theater we have on our Avenue of the Arts is this building on your left-hand side, and this is the Wilma Theater. Now, the Wilma is known for taking more artistic risks in the city, so if a show is considered too avant-garde or too controversial, they have a home inside of the Wilma. Now, nothing compares to the Kimmel Center, which is on your right-hand side. Now, the Kimmel Center is like the big theater of all theaters in the city. Later on in the year, I know the Mean Girls musical will be in town. Also, SpongeBob the musical will be in town. So that's gonna be a lot of excitement for the city going on at the Kimmel Center. Yeah, we like SpongeBob here in Australia. We love our SpongeBob musicals in Australia, in Philadelphia. All right, we love. Come on, SpongeBob is come on, man. Now, if you guys look right behind you, no, I can't talk about that building again. I'm losing my mind. Now, if you start to look around you guys, you're going to see signs for the University of the Arts. The University of the Arts is one of the many universities we have in Philly, one of the many opportunities we have for higher learning in Philadelphia. We are also home to Temple University, one of the better public universities in the state. We have Drexel University, known for their co-op and engineering programs. Villanova, the winner of last year's NCAA basketball tournament, but also known for being the outskirts of Philadelphia County. We're also home to Cheyney, and Cheyney University is America's oldest historically black college / university. A lovely LGBTQ-owned bookstore founded in 1973. Yeah, thank you so much. Now the Giovanni's Rum is now known as Philly AIDS Thrift. And Philly AIDS Thrift is a thrift store, and the proceeds inside go towards HIV/AIDS cure research in the city. Now, it does have a little bit of a low-key LGBTQ history that it's not really recognized. Now, we're also not recognized for our rich medical history. I mean, this city has done a lot of work when it comes to planting the seed for American medicine. If that makes any sense. We started American medicine. I'm sorry. Now, we started with the Pennsylvania Hospital. Now, over here on your left-hand side, you guys can see it. The Pennsylvania Hospital was chartered in the Colonial Assembly in 1751 by a Quaker fella, Dr. Thomas Bond. Now, when Dr. Thomas Bond had the idea for a hospital, he wanted it to cater to those who were less fortunate in the city for the relief of the sick and poor, to quote him. Now, when he had the idea, he was looking for a few donors, and he found one major donor, and that was Benjamin Franklin. So both Benjamin Franklin and Dr. Thomas Bond are mostly credited for the creation of America's first hospital. Now, Ross, just a reminder, we do have our friends from Delaware for Stop 22. Delaware for Stop 22. One more block we got here. Now, not only is Philadelphia responsible for the first hospital, we have the first children's hospital, the first medical school, the first cancer research center, the first eye hospital, the first Reddington Market is like, so you want to get off at the last stop and then get on a different bus and they would get to the Reddington Market. That can total take 30 minutes. All right, from now. Now on your right hand side, guys, we have the Old Pine Street Presbyterian Church in Philadelphia. Now this church is the only pre-revolutionary Presbyterian structure still standing in our country, founded in 1768. Now at that burial ground, you'll see a bunch of those old-timey flags. Right beneath those old-timey flags, we do have Revolutionary War soldiers buried. Now on this area. Now this area is called Society Hill. Now Society Hill is where Philadelphia's lovely fine establishment reside. Now if you guys want to be part of the Philadelphia fine establishment, lovely party, if you want to live here, that's going to cost you about $900,000 to about $2.5 million to buy one of these lovely historical row homes. It's still here. Now this pretty sure how to park.
Okay, so like a frozen custard.
Look at this person.
I'm sorry, that's
New Jersey drivers. Okay, don't be rude. So, sorry. Now, my friends, Ross, we are here at Stop 25. Again, Stop 25 for our friends from North Kakalaki.
உங்கள்கிட்ட இருக்க இடைவெளி என்கிட்ட இல்லை.
ஸ்கை தான் தெரியுது, அப்போ அவ்வளோ நல்லா வருது.
திருப்ப தெரியா
Akron, Philadelphia shipyard. There's a free meat sign.
Free meat?
But he's already free.
No, but he just got off the probation though.
அது வேற பிரிட்ஜ், இது வேற பிரிட்ஜ். அது இருட்டுக்குள்ள போனாங்க. இது வெளிச்சம். பெஞ்சமின் பிராங்க்லினும் கணக்கெல்லாம் ஓடி தெரிஞ்சிருப்பாரு.